And there's Chad Hutchinson starting at quarterback for the Bears. Big, hard-throwing right-hander out of Stanford. He had a terrific game in his first start as a Bear 2 weeks ago against the Vikings. Slipped a bit last week at Jacksonville. Kasim Mitchell will be protecting him at the left tackle position. Very important. That's where they're going to bring a lot of blitzes from. The lead runner is Thomas Jones. They want to run him a lot. Cameron Well came off under his own power. He was shaken up in the opening kickoff, and now we go to the first play from scrimmage, and the handoff is to Thomas Jones, the Bears' leading rusher. He has almost 700 yards for the season, 3.9 a rush. Looking now at the Texans on defense, a big nose tackle from Cornell anchors their D-line. Seth Payne. Kylie Wong having a terrific year at outside linebacker. Told his teammates, no, don't make it a locker day where you put everything in your locker on. And Dante Robinson, rookie corner from South Carolina, is a strong contender to be the NFL's defensive rookie of the year. Here's a throw in the flat. They get the ball out to Jason McKee, and he is ahead. Will advance the ball somewhere around to the 35-yard line, short of a first down by about 4 yards. Jason Simmons on the tackle.
When the Bears have the ball, they want to wear the Texans out with the run game. They feel they can do that over the course of a long game, and Houston's got to take advantage of the hanging Chad. Chad Hutchinson holds the football a long time in the pocket. They want to get to him and cause a fumble or get a turnover or a sack.
Well, the Bears have allowed 53 sacks this year. That's 22 more sacks allowed than the Bears' defense has gotten. It is third down now, needing 3. Here's Hutchinson with a swing pass near side. Jones puts on a move, breaks it for a first down. And he is all the way out close to midfield. They'll spot him out of bounds at the 48-yard line of Chicago. A 13-yard gain on the play.
This little swing pass, Jones is going to come out. Hutchinson looks down the field and quickly sees Jones, and that's a quick read, and this is defense in the NFL. Jamie Sharper overruns it and slips. If one guy misses a tackle, it's going to turn into a big play, and Thomas Jones can make guys miss.
He made some miss there. That was Jason Simmons who finally got him down, but it's first down Chicago. Back to Jones as he cracks into the Texans defense. The Bears' game plan is that they feel they can wear down the Texans defense by pounding the ball like that. That was a 6-yard gain on first down. Tackled by Glenn Earl.
This cold weather really makes it difficult to concentrate, Don. I mean, heat is one problem. Cold is one. Vince Lombardi used to say fatigue makes cowards of us all. But cold is the only thing I've ever seen that makes players just not care if they win or lose.
Hey, there's all kinds of cold. I'm from Buffalo. You live there and see cold air, and this is the kind of cold that hurts today. Here is an end around. This is the fastest Bear on the offensive side. Bernard Berry, the rookie wide receiver from Fresno State. And he moves the ball into the Houston side of the field. A gain of about 3 yards on the play.
You know, you talk about this weather, and everybody, all the players that aren't in the game will sit on the benches, but there's always about 4 or 5 guys, the situational guys, the extra defensive backs, the extra wide receivers, the tight ends. They have to stand up by the coaches on the sidelines. Those are the guys that really get cold. The guys on the sidelines who aren't in the game have it better than anybody in the stadium. They're on heated benches with great seats.
Interesting, Steve. The Bears are all along the sideline for the most part. The Texans are on the heated bench. Again, they go to Thomas Jones, and he takes it right at the Texans again. Some good trap blocking up front. Dante Robinson, the cornerback, gets him down, but the Bears drive on with a first down.
You know what happens in this, you see Thomas Jones run with the football. It is one of those days where you think you're going to grind it out on the ground and get some first downs and get a lot of third and short runs and that kind of thing. But one thing you have to remember, these guys, you see Thomas Jones, no sleeves on. He's got the forearm covers. Handling the ball is a factor because the ball becomes slick. If they wear sleeves, it's slippery.
Thomas is thriving on it right now. Here's a timing throw near flat. Ball is in the air, incomplete. As the Texans had a good play on it. The hard throw was to Bobby Wade, 84, but the veteran cornerback Aaron Glenn was there to break it up.
And you'll see here's Hutchinson throws the ball out there, and he's got to put a lot on this. You see the ball's well in the air before Wade even turns around, and Glenn, who's the veteran, tips it up, almost comes down with it. He got up pointing to the bench saying, you better not try that over here.
And right now in this opening drive, the Bears are working with a pretty good wind at their back, so they can hit a long field goal from here. It's going to be a lot tougher kicking the other way. On second down, the give is to Thomas Jones. And this power back with speed from Virginia takes it straight ahead. Deshaun Polk gets him down, but there's a 5-yard gain on the play.
You mentioned in the open, Don, this is the first time Texans have ever been up here in their franchise history. And it's also one of the few teams that the Bears will face that run the 3-4 defense, and they're really handling it well up front. It's hard to change from 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers, and then next week to block 3 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. It makes it difficult.
Now they go to Jones again on third down. Again, he cracks the front line on a 3rd down and 5 play. He's ahead very close to a first down.
I think they're going to just be short of it.
And he is going to be apparently where they spotted the ball, Steve, just short of it.
You see there's Steve Edwards coming around the corner leading the way for Jones, and the crowd calling for Lovie Smith to go for it. And I agree. Your running game has worked very well this opening drive. Give him a chance to keep it going.
You got to salute these Bear fans. I mean, it looked like it was going to be an empty building until just before kickoff. All of a sudden, they're all here. Sold out.
There you go. They've only hit 11 fourth down plays, gained a total of 1 yard.
Jones goes wide. He darts in. He's not done as he's inside the 25-yard line. He's got the first down. A 5-yard gain on a 4th down play. So the Bears keep it going on this opening drive.
Nice run. You know, so many times you panic. Gosh, you got to blast it in there, get that yard. Thomas Jones is very patient. What poise for a running back on a crucial 4th and a yard to take your time and find a hole and finally get the first down. Man, I tell you, if I was on the sidelines, I was panicking. I didn't think he was going to get it, but he did.
Thomas Jones Day. You see, of the first 10 touches, he's had it 7 times. Now on first down. Hutchinson goes right back to Jones, and he drives close to the 20-yard line for a gain of 2 or 3. As the middle of the Texans defense gets him down. Houston ranks 30th on defense overall. The Bears offense is 32nd and last in the NFL.
Bears didn't run the ball well last week. Like 30, just over 30 yards last week against Jacksonville. Already today they've got that matched.
And they go back to Thomas Jones, putting on deep moves, and he drives it close to the 15-yard line.
Thomas Jones jumped in the backfield on the snap count. He was actually in motion, and there was no flag. But this guy, I mean, that's what you want to do. Give him the football, particularly on this opening drive, Don. You got to catch the Texans when they're still adjusting to the field and the cold. Hit them early, and let's face it, the Bears live in this weather. This doesn't shock them when they come on the field, but the Texans, they come out and they stand straight up and go, it's a shock, but not for the Bears.
Now let's see what they do on third down and a long 2. Ball on the field. Texans have it. So the Bears drive comes to a screeching halt as Jones puts the ball on the field. The Texans, Jason Babin, a rookie from Western Michigan, picks it up. And Chicago has just lost its 19th fumble of the season, the most in the NFL. Texans stop a long Bear drive. 13 plays, recovering a fumble by Jones, who couldn't handle the handoff. And the Texans on the first play go to their best back, Dominic Davis, who's got over 800 yards rushing this year. Their quarterback, of course, a rising star, and David Carr, #1 pick in the entire draft when he came out of Fresno State 3 years ago. Steve McKinney is his center, anchors the offensive line. This is a group that's getting better. And Andre Johnson, a second-year wide receiver, is pretty close to all-pro quality. 71 catches already for over 1,000 yards. Just his second year from Miami of Florida. Davis running back on a 2nd down and 9 play. He's ahead for a gain of about 6 or 7 yards. As we look at the Chicago Bears on defense. Tommy Harris, the #1 pick out of Oklahoma. He's from Killeen, Texas. Lombardi Award winner last year. Brian Urlacher is out with a hamstring injury, so Hunter Hillenmeyer starts at middle linebacker. Mike Green at strong safety. He's been responsible for 6 takeaways. He has 4 fumble recoveries and 2 interceptions.
the secondary of the Bears is the strength of their defense, Don. They'd love to give them a chance to make plays.
Now on 3rd and 2, the pitch back goes, and here is Dominic Davis. He's over the top, and he's not done. Davis is inside the 40, and he is down close to the 35-yard line. So the Bears, Steve, it seems a bit dispirited after that long opening drive and the fumble. A 23-yard gain.
And this is a nice run with a great block right there. Chester Pitts gets the cut block, and then the fullback, Morin Norris, gets down the corner as he comes up. Just well executed up front. Dominique Davis makes the cut. Well blocked by the Texans offensive line and the fullback.
See what Dominic did last week. Had a tremendous game against the Colts. 128 rushing, 73 receiving. On 1st and 10, a quick throw to the near side. Here is Andre Johnson, very strong, and he drives inside the 30-yard line, down to about the 29, a gain of about 5 or 6. As we look at the task tracks.
Well, when Houston has it, they want to throw the football on 1st down. They feel that Chicago has a lot of man coverage on 1st. They just did it a moment ago. And then for Chicago, they've got to overcome the absence of Brian Urlacher. They are 0-4 in games this season without him. They've got to find a way to play better defense with him not in the game.
Yeah, they allowed 10 more points a game to the Bears when Urlacher's out of the lineup. They're 5-4 when he's been in the lineup. You mentioned 0-4 without him. Now the Bears come hitting hard on a 2nd down carry. A little or no gain as Agunlier makes the stop. Dominic Davis again with the run. He averages almost 18 carries a game, does Dominic Davis.
There you see 23 consecutive games without an opening drive touchdown. And that's something that really hurts, I think, a young team. I mean, it's indicative of a young team, and it also hurts a young team. They always get off to a slow start offensively. And then they always find themselves desperately trying to come back in the second half.
Now here they go to on 3rd down and 5. Ball at the Bears 28. Texans in the shotgun. Go to a draw play, and a straight ahead run is inside the 25. It will be short of a 1st down. A 4-yard gain as Dominic Davis is stopped by the defensive end Adewale Agunlier.
And they are in field goal range.
So now Chad Johnson and the Bears start their 2nd drive, and they go right back to what's been known. They play fake to Jones and now throw to him. And Thomas Jones is out to the 37-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play. You look at that field goal that was missed a minute ago.
Well, the snap is going to be up in here. That's too high, and it's inside. And now Chris Brown has to attack the ball. But when he does that, he's not sure. And as I told you, he was pulling kicks left in warm-ups. This one he hits dead right. And Brian Pittman had trouble getting that ball right where the holder needed it. The holder was the punter, Chad Stanley. He couldn't get it down just where Chris Brown wanted it.
That brings up 2nd down, a long 5. 6 yards ready to go for the 1st down. And here is Jones, and now they key on him and stop him for a loss of 2 yards. Back close to the 35-yard line. Coming through to make the stop was Jamie Sharper, who's had a terrific year at inside linebacker with 112 tackles now for the Texans. That's 34 more than the next highest tackler.
And there you see, that's a reflection of the cold. Both teams running the football a lot and passing it only when necessary. Chicago throwing it a little more. I think that's when we talk about in the open. They want to take the gloves off and go after these guys, but still, the run is what these teams are doing.
On 3rd and 7, Hutchinson throws over the middle, and it is. Did you give them the catch on that, Steve? I think they are out to the 40-yard line, but it's short. It brings up 4th down and over 2. Bobby Wade makes the catch. Sharper on the tackle, and the Bears will punt.
Also the coldest game they've ever had here at Soldier Field. They played in one colder game at Wrigley Field years ago, but it's cold today here.
Real cold here today, and here is the handoff to Dominic Davis, the 2nd year back from LSU. The Chiefs and the Broncos, arch rivals, going at it today in Denver, and here's Greg Gumbel for more on it.
All right, Don, it's mostly the Chiefs doing the damage today. Larry Johnson from 5 yards out. This on the heels of a Dante Hall kickoff return for a touchdown. If Denver loses today, the Chargers claim the AFC West, and right now Kansas City leads 14-0, guys.
Wow, man. Denver has started to wobble down the stretch.
Well, they started fast. They Jake Plummer hasn't done it in the recent weeks. Here is the handoff.
Texans go right back to the run.
And get the ball down to about the 28-yard line. Bring up 3rd down and over 5. Fastest first quarter we've seen this season. 24 plays in the first quarter and no penalties. On 3rd down, a hard throw near side by Carr, but it's not close. And the Bears send in their punt return unit. Make the reverse, go up the middle. They get power as the A-train. Anthony Thomas takes it straight ahead, and he runs for 13 yards and a 1st down. Stopped on the play by Jamie Sharper.
Well, this isn't the first time that the Bears have run this play, only they ran it with Thomas Jones, and now with Anthony Thomas, you see the end around that holds the backside pursuit. Robinson couldn't come in from the corner to make the tackle. The pursuit has to get through the offensive lineman. Great running play. The Bears have really dominated up front.
Right now, they'll start inside the 40-yard line with this new set of downs. Right back to Thomas, and the big back from Michigan is knocked out of bounds on the near sideline by Kylie Wong.
Yeah, you talk about how this Bears line has come out and played very well in the early going here. This is a bunch of guys who haven't, they look over and they might see a stranger standing next to them. They've had 6 different offensive line combinations this year. Even today, John Tate and Rex Tucker are not in the lineup. So you've got Kasim Mitchell, Terrence Metcalf, Olin Kreutz, Steve. They've got Steve Edwards, Aaron Gibson, and these guys are playing very well, and it's surprising because they've struggled.
Right now, they're moving out the Texans' defensive front. Here is another handoff to the A-train. Well, when we talked to Lovie Smith at the Bears practice on Friday, asked him if there was any surprises about being a first-year head coach. He said, well, what you learn is you learn to expect the unexpected. He said, I certainly didn't expect to be down to my 4th quarterback.
That's right, or his 6th offensive line. I mean, these guys, you look at the number of guys who have had to start in the different combinations Lovie Smith has had to throw in there. I mean, look at them. This is their offensive line on opening day. Good-looking bunch of guys. Reuben Brown, the 7-time Pro Bowler. They signed as a free agent. Mike Gandy, John Tate. Well, those 3 guys are gone. They're not in there.
Now on 3rd down and 6. Here is Hutchinson taking a deep drop. Throws a fastball, and it's off the hands of his receiver at the 23-yard line. In the bitter cold of Cleveland, the Chargers and the Browns are having at it. We'll be updating that shortly, but right now a breakup by Aaron Glenn on the throw to David Terrell.
The crowd wanted a penalty, but there was none coming. David Terrell trying to make that pass, and this is going to be a really long field goal, a 53-yarder. Dime. He's got the leg to get it there.
Well, he's 3 of 5 from 50-plus this year. This is a 53-yarder.
This is really long.
Paul Ettinger. He's not had a great year, though. He is, and now they're going to run a fake. Lobs the ball downfield, and they try everything. It's intercepted. Here comes Aaron Glenn, looking for a block, and they take him down at the 17-yard line.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, they get a...
It's just like
Texans with field position
deep. It's a punt inside the 20, no problem. You take a chance, maybe it pays off. If it doesn't, you don't give up anything. Of course, you don't want Aaron Glenn picking it off and going the distance. But that's what this is. And we said it was long, and you're right, Don. It was going to be a fake. Take a little roll of the dice. It ends up, it's just a long punt. No harm done. Good gamble.
Throwing to Adonijay, a lineman. Had his 5th interception of the season for the Texans. And they now start from their 17-yard line. Firing hard over the middle, and again it's off target and incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10. He was going to Andre Johnson.
I'll tell you what, Tank Johnson just put a big shot on David Carr. He takes a nice swim move right here, takes a nice swim move around the Todd Washington, the replacement for Zach Wiegert, who had to leave the game, and he gets a nice shot on David Carr, and David Carr didn't get up. He just kind of climbed to his feet. He felt that one.
Hank Johnson, a rookie from University of Washington. He was the Bears' #2 draft choice. Here is Dominic Davis running on 2nd down and 10, and the Bears give him nothing. So it'll be 3rd down and 10. Down and 14 for David Carr and the Texans.
Marcus Spears in for Seth Wan, the normal left tackle who's out. Look for them to go after him.
Blitzers a line. They come with 4. Carr gets it away. Dominic Davis. He can't elude the Bear defenders. Bears in position to shut him down, keeping everything in front. Nathan Vasher, the rookie D-back from the University of Texas, makes the stop, lead tackler. And the Texans have to punt from deep in their own end.
And right now, the Bears are starting to find that they kind of like this cold weather.
And it's going to get colder as now the Bears with their 4th possession and still no points in this game. With a run on 1st and 10, and Thomas, the big back, runs straight ahead. They ran in their opening drive, they ran Thomas Jones 9 times. Tuesday at a special time on CBS, The Amazing Race is launching teams to new heights. See ancient battle skills become the key to winning the competition. Don't miss a new Amazing Race, Tuesday at a special time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. If you wins this is going to be a marathon today. A 3-pointer might win it. Very tough playing conditions as Hutchinson takes a deep drop, goes to his outlet receiver, and Jason McKee unable to hold the ball. Came in a bit low.
Yeah, it makes it tough to catch the ball on days like today. You see McKee there with the gloves on and the sleeves. You see the drives, 3 drives apiece, 2 punts, 2 turnovers, a missed field goal, a punt. And this is one of those fake field goal, fake punt kind of games, Don. We saw 1 fake field goal already. You might see another trick play or gadget play that'll turn the tide. All you need is 1 big, long play, and all of a sudden you're on the board and you've got the lead.
Well, as you know, Steve, in the NFL, the last 3 years in the regular season, the team that scores first wins about 67% of the time. Hutchinson going to air it out, fires a fastball, and he goes to his tight end, Desmond Clark. And on 3rd and 10, he's ahead for a 1st down, gains 15 yards, and he's down to the 28-yard line of the Texans. Tackle on the play by Kylie Wong and Sharper.
Well, Clark is a guy that kind of emerged 2 weeks ago, and in the same game he had 6 receptions and a touchdown. He also got hurt. They missed him desperately last week, and they're glad to have him back, and you can bet he's in the game plan today, feeling 100% there with the turf hanging out of his face mask.
But they yank the big play, and it's 1st and 10. Reverse. Varian. Terrific play. Texans weren't buying it. Jason Babin, the rookie, makes the knockdown for a loss on the play. Playing conditions tough here. They're brutal in Cleveland. Here's Greg Gumbel with more on that.
All right, thanks, Don. Not brutal enough to stop LaDainian Tomlinson from a yard out for the first score of the day. 11th straight game, he has registered a rushing touchdown. The Chargers lead Cleveland 7-0 early in the 2nd quarter, guys.
I'm kind of glad we're in Chicago.
Yep, clinched the AFC West. Here the Chargers. And, of course, Denver is losing 14-0 to Kansas City right now. A loss of 9 in that play, and now Hutchinson screens the ball off to Anthony Thomas. And the A-train is rolling inside the 20-yard line. He'll be, looks like he'll be very close to a 1st down. 18-yard gain on the play. And back to Greg Gumbel as the scoreboard changes. 100 miles east of Dallas. Started his coaching career there. 3rd down comes up, 3rd and 6. And the front of the Texans pretty much shuts down Anthony Thomas. We've got no indication that Thomas Jones has been shaken up. He had the ball 9 times in the opening drive, a 13-play drive, but it ended when Jones bobbled a handoff and fumbled it away. David Carr, who they say can really buy time with his feet. He also runs well when he has to, averaging pretty impressive over 4 yards a carry when he's had a scramble. 4.4.
Dom Capers and his coaching staff really went crazy when that last field goal was missed by the Bears. They know this is going to be a dogfight. I mean, this is a game that's going to come down to 1 or 2 plays that are going to be crucial, and a missed field goal could very well be that play.
Carr on 2nd down and 7, rolling out. There's the good feet, looking downfield. And he heads for the 12th man. Nails out. He knows in this league bad things can happen if you stay in. They're playing on a fast track at Invesco Mile High. And here's Greg Gumbel.
All right, Don, thank you. Trent Green and the Kansas City Chiefs strike again. Green with the play action finds Eddie Kinnison coming across the end zone. It's a 21-7. Chiefs lead coming up on 9.5 to play in the first half over Denver, guys.
Now third down arises, 3rd down and 4. Throwing a catch, and on the run is Jabbar Gaffney, and the Texans break their biggest gain of the day. And he is down inside the 45-yard line, down to the 44.
Question, these guys, some of these guys are sweating even in this cold weather. They'll have to go in and put dry clothes on underneath their pads, or they'll come out in the second half and freeze.
Here's a throw over the middle, beautifully executed by the Texans, as Carr fires that fastball into Jabbar Gaffney for an 11-yard gain, and all of a sudden the Texans pass attack is working.
Yeah, we talked about in the open, we thought that they would come out and throw on 1st down, and as you see there, the temperature is a factor, but you can't let that affect your ability to throw the ball. You may not want to choose plays in certain positions. You might want to run the football more, but you still can't be afraid to put the football in the air.
Well, Carr is certainly not averse to doing that now, as he's throwing tight spirals right on target. He's going to try again. Here comes the heat. Carr's heading for the 12th man, but he gets plus yards. Not a lot, but he does get to the 31-yard line on a 1st down run. Michael Haynes runs him out of bounds.
You watch Brian Urlacher's out and Hunter Hillenmeyer's in. Watch as Hillenmeyer's going to run really hard to the play, and he gets caught inside on the play fake, which gives Carr the ability to get to the corner, gain at least 1 yard on a play that may have been thrown for a loss.
Hillenmeyer starting at middle linebacker. There's been a great hue and cry here in Chicago over Sporting News addressing the most overrated players in the league, and they had Urlacher as the most overrated in a poll of some pro scouts and broadcasters, all who of them were anonymous. But the numbers show Urlacher is absolutely vital to this team.
Yeah, and Sporting News came out and they said here's some the most overrated players, and they say Urlacher was more hype than hit. I don't know about that. They said they consulted some people in and around the league, scouts and some personnel people. Lovie Smith went to bat for him this week, and actually, was as adamant as he's been about any issue this year in his defense of Brian Urlacher.
So now on 3rd down and 13, David Carr in the shotgun. Here comes Heat. Throws over the middle, and his receiver wasn't looking at the ball. He was going at Gaffney. And Gaffney wasn't looking back at the ball.
Gaffney was looking at Lance Briggs, who was going to separate him from his head from his shoulders. Watch.
From his consciousness.
That's right. And look here. He wants no part of the football right there. And Lance Briggs was the reason.
On 1st down, Hutchinson stands in, throws a nice tight ball into Bobby Wade. Penalty markers down at the line of scrimmage. 9-yard gain if it goes. Somebody asked him what it's like to be the first 400-pounder. He said, I'm the first to admit it. Right now, he's a Bear that has to get his game in order as Hutchinson gets it downfield somehow and makes a connection all the way out to the 28-yard line. A 20-yard gain on the play. Now they're going to give him a spot at the 30, and it looks like a 1st down.
And you watch Hutchinson's a pump fake. He pulls it down, and Seth Payne just loses his grip. And then Kylie Wong really lays Hutchinson out at the end of this play, but he gets the pass off. Watch this as Wong, that hurts. Hey, the first thing to hit is the back of his head, but he completes the pass, makes a big play for the Bears.
It was a huge play, but they still have a long way to go to get in field goal range in this scoreless game. Hutchinson does the right thing, rolls out of the pocket with the Texans in hot pursuit, and gets out of the tackle box and grounds the ball legally.
He's out of the box. It did not make the line of scrimmage. They're not going to throw a penalty on it.
Hutchinson, a big guy. He's a surfer from California. Played at Stanford 4 years with the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team as a pitcher. Then 2 years at Dallas. And you have to wonder, Steve, what Dallas was thinking, cutting a guy with this kind of ability with their quarterback situation being what it is.
You're right.
They really like him in Chicago. And of course, the starter, Rex Grossman, went out with an injury in week 4. Bears starter, and here is Thomas Jones back in the lineup and getting plus yards and a second down carry. He's ahead to about the 34-yard line. Bears, even with a 5-8 record, a better chance than the Texans, who still have a chance also in the AFC, but the Bears in the NFC still have a playoff chance. Kylie Wong with another terrific play. This guy has just been outstanding. He, of course, played at Minnesota, knows cold weather. We asked him what he told his teammates. He said, the first thing I told him is, listen, you don't have to live in it. You got to play in it for 3 hours. It's not that bad.
That's right. It's too bad Chad Hutchinson had Kylie Wong on him, because Thomas Jones was wide open down the left side by himself, and Kylie Wong made everything else irrelevant because he was in Chad Hutchinson's lap right away.
1:55 to play, and there is J.J. Moses waiting for the punt. Well hit. Moses coming up on it at the 27. Works the sideline to the 33. And there, David Carr and the Texans offense will go to work.
That last play just before the punt, Chad Hutchinson took the snap and had Kylie Wong right on him. But right here, watch Thomas Jones right up the sideline all by himself. And at that point, Chad Hutchinson was already on his back. Otherwise, if he could just throw the football, lob it down there some way, somehow, it would have been a touchdown. You can be sure, though, you'll see that play again from the Chicago Bears.
See how the Texans have done. Missed the field goal, punt, and punt. And their previous possessions. I'll tell you how cold it is. You can't get a pin to write up here. They're all frozen. David Carr swings it out. Dominic Davis is on the run. He's across the 40-yard line. A gain of about 9 yards on the play. Taken down by Lance Briggs, who's been a tackling machine, number 55.
As Carr goes into the 2-minute drill, and in the last 2 series, the Texans have finally got a little bit of a handle on the Chicago defense. They looked very poor for a couple of series. Now they've got it back together.
Davis drives on second and short, gets the first down. And the Texans drive on after a 5-yard gain.
They have to get to the 32-yard line to have a legitimate shot at a field goal.
Dominic Davis has been some producer. He came in with 55 catches in addition to all those rushing yards. Over 800. Here is David Carr throwing and knocking it downfield. Is McQuarters breaking it up. You know him by his flowing locks. R.W. McQuarters.
Yeah, that's McQuarters playing free safety. He's a cover corner. He was drafted as a cover corner. He can play that position, and he's just getting the feel for playing back with nobody to guard except watching the football and trying to make a play. And you'll see here as he comes in from deep, watching the quarterback. And that's a cover corner right there. And you like to have those guys playing safety because they are not afraid to attack the football.
Right now, David Carr is going to attack the Bears defense with a vertical passing game. He's got to get it downfield with 54 seconds left in this scoreless first half, and the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Alex Brown, a big defensive end from Florida, who's had a real good year. He's got 6 sacks, 10 tackles for losses, and that was his 5th pass breakup of the year.
Yeah, Brown is one of those guys. He always plays hard. He plays smart. He's always in the right spot. He's got a fast motor. He's one of those guys you just cheer for. You know, you like the way he plays. 6 sacks is a nice year. Particularly, I think Adewale Ogunleye has really helped his game on the other side, taking a little bit of attention away from him.
Alex Brown, 6 sacks. He got 4 of them in one game against the Giants. Long ball and is open. That is Andre Johnson. And he is inside the 30, so the big play man for the Texans makes his first big play of this day, a 26-yard gain.
The Texans caught him in zone coverage. Watch here, right at the top. He's going to go outside the cornerback, and the corner turns around and looks at the quarterback. And before the safety McQuarters can get over there, Carr fits it in the gap. And that's a great zone route. It's a classic route. You get a receiver up the outside, and the corner has to respect the inside line or the underneath route, and the receiver slips behind him, and the quarterback lobs it over.
Johnson's caught 2 today. He has 73 for the season. Dominic Davis looks to turn it up and does, and he's inside the 20, but then a penalty marker's fired at the Texans.
And that's a big penalty if it's a hold.
And it brings up now first down and 20. Ball positioned at the 37-yard line of the Bears. Carr standing in, going for it all. He's got a guy out there. It's caught for a touchdown. On one of the Texans' best plays of this season, Corey Bradford on the fly. On the payoff end, a 37-yard throw.
The Bears are going to have to do something to maybe get into field goal range.
Well, the Bears could. They can get a field goal range with a good return.
They've got a great return game.
And they've been a very good return team so far this year. As the Bears advance the ball now inside the 50 and down close to the 45-yard line. Adrian Peterson ran it back.
All they need is 11 yards.
29.
11 yards, and they're in field goal range, maybe 12. If they get inside the 35, they can try a long field goal.
I think, though, from what we've seen, Steve, every field goal is going to be an adventure today.
And there you see Houston's defense has been very good at the last half of last week against Indianapolis, and, of course, the first half today.
We asked Dom Capers about how he approaches a cold weather game with a team not familiar with him. He said, what you do is you try to make it as much of a non-issue as you can. They're playing in a 2, and here is a fastball downfield intercepted. On the run is Dante Robinson, that spectacular rookie, and he's going the distance. No flags. He did step out. All right, he's got him back at the 35. So Robinson, with his 6th interception in this his rookie season.
He works at it. He wants to be good, and he knows he has a lot to learn. Those are great attributes.
And he's good already and getting better. Here is Carr throwing the ball at the sideline, and Gaffney coming back at it, can't get to it. And now with just 4 seconds left, I think they're deciding they're out of field goal range.
Yeah, you just kind of loft one up, and this might be one place for maybe a hook and lateral or a throw it up for grabs in the front of the end zone. And you should be able to tell by the alignment exactly what the Texans' strategy is. And the Bears' strategy is to back up and dare him to throw it in front of you.
Well, the Texans have some fast people aligned now to either side, and they're going into the end zone as Kyle try to hit the deep ball again. Last play of the half. Here comes the rush. Look at these defensive linemen running now. Carr gets out of bounds. It's amazing how these 300-pound guys can run.
And I'll tell you what, it's not so amazing. When you're running for your life, you can seem to run a little faster, too.
That's the end of the first half. Houston leads 7-0. We'll be back with the Nextel halftime report. Some coaches feel those work against the team. Really, guys are almost thinking about when going to get back to that bench.
Well, like I said, every guy's different. And particularly the Bears players, they know how to handle it. The coaching staff knows how their players are going to handle it. The Texans, they don't know. This is the first time they're going to find out.
J.J. Moses from the 6-yard line. Hitman moves, and he gets close to the 25 and then is taken down hard. Adrian Peterson making the special teams tackle, number 29, and David Carr calmly walks out, ready to go to work.
And you look there, those last 3 drives, we mentioned it right at the end of the first half. Those last 3 drives for the Texans, they started to get it together a little bit, get a better handle. Their play calling was a little bit more effective, and David Carr was a little bit more effective. So look for them to come out, and this crucial first drive of the second half, you can see what Dom Capers and his staff were able to impart to their players at halftime. This is always the crucial drive of the game, Don, particularly in a tight battle.
Yeah, the opening drive of the second half. Carr has been sacked 1 time today. The Colts sacked him 5 times last week. They come out running and not very far. Davis is taken down quickly, as coming up to get him was Ian Scott, 95. The Texan season has really been a direct reflection of the play of quarterback David Carr. In the first 7 games, he had almost 66% completions, quarterback rating of over 97, a 4-3 record. Last 6 games, completion numbers dropping down, and certainly the quarterback rating of 69.9 has led to 1-5 over the last 6 games. But today he has been mistake-free. He's not turned the ball over. He's thrown for the only score of the game, and he sets his team now on a 2nd down and 13. Play faking. Here's the rush. He fires to an open receiver, and on the run is the touchdown man Bradford, and he might have the first down.
Just at the end, he slipped between the defenders, and I think he reached the first down yardage. This is just a little crossing route. His car is going to come back, a little play fake, and Bradford weaves his way through traffic, finds himself on the far side for the catch, and gets the first down. And so many times that's the way, a good way to get your passing on track. Just give your quarterback some easy over the middle throws, some possession receivers catch it and let them get a little yardage after they catch it. I'm having trouble speaking. It's getting cold up here. My lips are getting numb.
At the end of the day, it's now first down, and you live in Buffalo.
It's cold.
You're game trained for this. Here is a handoff, and Dominic Davis with a spin move, but the Bears shut him down. Alex Brown on the stop.
So many people wonder what goes on at halftime of an NFL game. And, forget the Gipper speech at halftime. It's not that way. They go in and they sit down, they break down offense and defense, and the defensive coaching staff that watches it from upstairs will say, okay, this is what they're doing to us and what they're really having success doing, and this is how we're going to stop it. And it's the same way on the offensive side. Both teams do the exact same thing. It's a classroom. It's not a pep rally.
Well, a lot of times a warm weather team coming up, they'll have that locker room. I don't know what the Bears did. They played by the rules, but they turned the heat up to about 80, so guys really get warm. And you don't know what cold is till you come back out into it after a warm locker room.
Yeah. And most of these guys will go in, if they're smart, they'll go in, strip off their shoulder pads and jersey, and put on a dry T-shirt, because you'd be surprised, they do sweat underneath their pads when they're out there. And when you come, if you don't change your shirt under your pads, that sweat will freeze against your body when you come back out. It'll freeze between the tunnel and the bench.
Wow, this is not good.
Yeah, you want to talk about discomfort.
Talking about serious discomfort there, a frozen shirt. Absolutely vile. Here is a rollout now by Carr. This guy's really got sneaking motor.
Well, he didn't motor far enough for the first down. You see Wally Agunlier chasing him down. He's on his knees saying, chasing him. He almost got him, but watch his Carr. I mean, this is what Carr can do. This is why he was the first pick of the draft. He's got a great arm, and he can get away from guys like that and really puts pressure on a defense when your quarterback gets outside.
Ever since late last night when this Arctic blast moved into the Midwest. Now the Bears on first down go to Thomas Jones, and they cut him down. A good open field tackle made by Glenn Earl. On this first drive, they now come up to a second down and 14 after Jones was cut down. They've got to be aggressive getting the ball downfield. That's what Hutchinson told us Friday they were planning to do, attack. Now he's looking over the middle, sees nothing open, and skips the ball towards Jones.
This Houston Texans team is one of the few teams that runs a 3-4 defense, and these are the other teams that do it. And you'll notice one of the interesting things, the Texans are the only team with a losing record. The 3-4 defense is a little different. What it makes the offensive line do is they've got to identify linebackers and defensive players, because it's so flexible up front. You never know which 4 guys or 3 guys or 6 guys are going to come and rush the passer. There are a few guys that are certainties in that position, and the offensive line has problems with it.
Well, here's a 3rd and 14 throw, and doing a good job just catching the ball as Jones, as it came in too low, gave him no lead to run with it. So the Bear fans unhappy now, as just a 4-yard gain on 3rd down, and that's way short of a first down. Backler.
The Bear faithful are out today, too.
Here's the pitch back, and Dominic Davis runs and gets inside the 50 and drives inside the 45-yard line and gets a first down. A first down carry, good for a run of 12, as the Texans, Steve, are picking up steam.
Yeah, they are. Their offensive line's playing very well. Dominic Davis, you forget, he had 200 yards rushing last week against Indianapolis. This is an offense that really has it together up front. They've got a veteran offensive line. He also had 73 yards receiving last week.
Total of 201 yards total offense.
Right.
San Diego laying it to Cleveland. Boy, the Browns are in dire straits. Rolling out is Carr, looking downfield. He dumps it off to his back coming out, and that is Davis.
You talk about Dominic Davis and what he means to this offense. This is what he was doing early. The first 6 games, he only had 289 yards and 3 touchdowns, but then he kind of found himself the last 6 games. He got 543 yards and 6 touchdowns. That's a turnaround.
Last 6 games, 543 up and 6 touchdowns, and maybe more to come, because the Texans are now moving the ball. Very confident, realizing they can play well in the cold, and they're doing it. Protecting the ball is the biggest thing they've done. They've not turned it over. Bears have turned it over 3 times in the first half. Ian Scott makes the stop on Davis at the 40. That'll bring a loss of about 2 yards on the play.
You see Scott coming off there. The guy who really forced that play for the defense was Lance Briggs, and he has really played well. I mean, this is a guy, you know, he's always overshadowed by the, Brian Urlacher and his presence, but Lance Briggs has been a force on this defense, and they really like what he's become. I mean, a fast, very heady linebacker. And this is a guy that Lovie Smith thinks is very underrated. You see all the stuff about Brian Urlacher being overrated. He thinks Lance Briggs is very underrated.
Well, Briggs has been a tackling machine. 139 tackles coming into the game. Had a career high 17 tackles did Briggs last week against Jacksonville. And that pass errant, and so the drive stalls, and the Texans will punt the ball. Right now, they need the quarterback through the Bears, Hutchinson, to get him downfield. They got to do it throwing. They're not going to run on this team. Almost a pick as Hutchinson is leveled by Wong, who has really been a game changer. Really all season. He's playing terrific football, a product of Stanford in his 7th year, former Viking.
Well, the offensive line of the Bears is really struggling, finding a way to combat Kylie Wong. I mean, he's been.
They were teammates.
Yeah, Chad Johnson. Chad Johnson should send him a holiday card. Get him.
They were at Stanford together.
Yeah.
To the run on 2nd down and 10, and a good burst by Thomas Jones takes him ahead for plus yards out close to the 28-yard line, where it'll bring up 3rd down and short, 3rd and about 2. Tackled by Wong again.
And this is one thing that the Bears were doing early in the game. Thomas Jones was making some good runs, particularly on their first drive, and they have not seen him run like that since.
Wong's the guy who told his teammates, don't make it a locker day where you put everything in your locker on, because you're going to be burdened too much by it. Third and short. They go to Jones, and the linesman comes in short of it. 7-0 lead. You got a punt.
Yeah, he did not get it. The only number that counts today is -6.
That's the chill factor. -6. Handoff, and Bears aren't buying anything from Dominic Davis on that carry as they throw him back. It's a loss of a couple of yards on the play. Mike Green was the lead tackler, 43. That's always around the ball. You got to love it to be here today. There's a real Chicago Bear.
Yeah, you got to have a real commitment. You got to have a real commitment to your season tickets to be sitting in here today.
Texas Santa Claus. 2nd down and 12 comes up now for David Carr and the Houston Texans. Leading 7-0 on a Carr touchdown pass in the first half. Carr almost was caught. Then he fires to the sideline. Did a very good job of getting rid of the ball and get out of the tackle box, because the Bears were coming hard. Alfonso Boone.
Yeah.
Mount San Antonio.
Watch as Mike Green comes right in. He gets in he scares Carr off that throw. Carr was going to throw it quickly out to Bradford, and Mike Green makes the whole play by forcing Carr to just run off and throw it away. It's a great play for a guy who didn't get credit for a tackle, interception, or anything else. That was a great defensive play.
The Bears have suffered 4 straight double-digit defeats. The offense has scored a total of 20 points in those 4 games, a total, and none today. And the
Bears are in man coverage.
The big rush, and Carr again does a good job. Now that was grounding from the end zone. It's a safety, but there's no flag. He's nobody near where he threw it, but I guess he was out of the tackle
There's a little
box.
conference going on.
11-3 with a team that was out of business last year.
Well, Mike Vick's back.
He'll win some for you like he did last night. Here on the run is Hutchinson, and he has the ball tipped as Jamie Sharper got a piece of it, trying to dump it off.
Look at there, 10 total yards in the last 3 possessions. The Bears, and we said at the open, Don, they've got to cut loose and do something special. They've got to break out of this offensive funk that they've been in, and 10 yards in 3 possessions is not going to do it. All they need is about 15 or 17 yards in this drive, and they could kick a field goal. They haven't gained one yet.
Boy, the Bears have to draft offense.
No question. Absolutely no question. I think quarterback is a good question, too. What are they going to do?
Well, when you get Grossman back healthy, that's a good start. That's their main guy. Here's a throw downfield, and it's almost picked. Very nearly a 4th turnover by the Bears. Bobby Wade, the target, and Aaron Glenn, who has 1 interception already today, his 5th of the year, almost had another.
You can understand some of the problems for offense in Chicago. They've only got 11 points per game, total yards per game, 3 and outs. I mean, these are all awful numbers, but they're all last. And the problem is, they've had their offensive line hurt, and they're unprecedented to have a 4th quarterback starting for you. You just never see that, and it all starts there.
Lovie Smith said, expecting the unexpected, but you never expect to be down to your 4th quarterback. And now Hutchinson is hit hard as he releases the ball. Antoine Peak, a linebacker defensive end, got the heat on him and hit him hard. So the Bears stall again.
And there's not good.
But you're dropping a bit down to 10. Carr has been on the run the whole second half trying to throw the ball, and he comes downfield with the ball, and they're going to give him the catch.
No, there's going to be a penalty too. He stepped out of bounds. The receiver stepped out of bounds further up the field and came back and made the catch, which is illegal.
Well, this season was Mark Bruner.
Well, Billy Miller's the tight end that catches the passes.
Carr stands in, makes it, and there's Mark Bruner, and the ball's in the air. Looked like a catch and a fumble.
They called it incomplete.
Now they're waving it off as McQuarters is heading towards the end zone. I know that's pretty close to a catch.
Yeah,
might be checked out.
I don't agree with that, Don. See, the officials call it an incomplete pass. Let them play. It was such a close play. If they call it incomplete, there's no way to get it right if they miss it.
Doesn't he take a step?
Yeah, it looks like he catches it here. And it looks to me like he had both feet down, and it might be that the ground caused the fumble anyway. What I'm going to do is get half of it.
Blitzers align for the Bears. They're coming. Carr in the end zone. I don't know if he got out of the pocket there. He is flattened behind the end zone. That has to be a late hit. I don't know what's going to do. I don't see a flag.
There's no flag. That is the right call. He didn't get outside the tackle box, and he threw it and didn't get past the line of scrimmage.
Offense, number 8. From the end zone, is on the play for safety.
Looks like a Cubs-White Sox score.
You watch here. He's got to get outside the hash mark, and he doesn't do it. And that's a good call. It was right in the middle of the field, and the ball didn't reach the line of scrimmage.
These Bear pass rushers, Steve, they're overrunning the Texans here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Agunlie comes in, and there you see there we thought might have been called a late hit by Tank Johnson, but it was no call.
I'll tell you, another team that's inching towards a playoff spot, they're still probably a long shot, is the Bills, but if they get in, look out for them. They started 0-4. Right now they're pounding people week after week. Under their first-year coach, Michael Larkey. There's a ball on the field. And the quarterback seems to have gotten it back. Hutchinson. Let's see what's going on at Arrowhead in Kansas City as we go back to Greg. They do indeed. That looks like the Broncos have cashed in their beach tickets here.
Oh, they sure have. It's amazing, too, San Diego playing so well in Cleveland today. And, let's face it, you don't get any better weather than San Diego year-round. And here they're playing great football. And there it is. There's the playoff picture. And it's The closer you get to the end of the season, they start out with these playoff scenarios, and it's like a dissertation with all the permutations. But with each passing week, it gets more simple and more simple. And the team that you want to be is the one that says, if you win, you're in.
I like that dissertations and permutations. You got that at Northwestern.
That's right. I'm back in the days of my youth here in Chicago.
Any smart guys go there. Here's a throw downfield, and the ball is caught by Terrell. Then he loses it.
So they waste the good field position on that drive.
Long way to go. Still 2:33 to play in the third quarter. Jonathan Wells, a big back from Ohio State, gets his first carry. Texans right now just working to get out of their own end.
Yeah, and you talk about this is their last drive. Illegal touch penalty and an incomplete pass. They had a delay of game, had to take a timeout, got a safety. They didn't cover themselves in glory on their last possession. And in fact, now they've switched running backs, you mentioned. Jonathan Wells is in for Dominic Davis.
Now Capers, he really had his guys ready for this game. They have played a very, very sound game, the Texans, but the Bears are right in it, down by 5.
It's thanks to their defense. Look at that.
Hey, one thing the Bears don't have to draft is defensive linemen. These two guys, Florida Gators, Alex Brown and Ian Scott. They're a force.
Watch as they explode off the ball right here and right there. Really come off the ball and just blow the play up. And that's great defensive line play. I mean, you could have won. The Bears would have won that play if it had just been 4 on 11. Those two guys made it.
The 3 tackles does not indicate how much Alex Brown has done for the Bears, though. He's blowing plays up. He's disrupting everything. He has Carr on the run virtually every down he drops back.
Right now, the defensive line of the Bears is playing on the Texans side of the ball.
Here comes Brown again. Carr rolling out. And he can, only with his good athleticism, can just get out of bounds. He's got no help back there.
You can see the frustration. David Carr is not happy. And he's wanting his offensive line to give him some help.
Biggest reason that the Texans still have the lead. Bears turned it over 3 times in the first half. Thomas Jones, you see both arms on the ball. You'll harken back to that opening drive. A 13-play Chicago drive with Thomas Jones running 9 times very effectively. Then deep in the Texans' end on the 9th carry of the drive by Jones, he fumbled.
Well, if the Bears are going to do anything, they're going to have to do it in this drive. They're going to run out of opportunities. You can't expect to get perfect field position for the rest of the second half. They've got to make something happen.
Would be the last play of the quarter. It will be. And it's Jones. And a big play in the backfield. As coming up is Antoine Peak, the second-year defensive player from Cincinnati. The Bears putting the heat on. Now Chicago down by 5. 3rd and 11. Hutchinson stands in. Throws and makes a connection to David Terrell. As he reached for the first down, he didn't get close. He's a couple yards short. 8-yard gain on the play and a good catch by Terrell.
And here comes the field goal unit.
And I wouldn't go that route.
And I'll tell you what, Don, they have had outstanding field position given to them by their defense, have the Chicago Bears. They have done nothing with it. And if this game comes up, if they look back on this game, that's going to be the difference. And there is Paul Edinger's day. It has not been good.
43-yard attempt. He's been struggling. He's been a terrific kicker for the Bears, but he came into the game with 8 misses and another one today. Gets the ball up and he drives it down the middle. He gets it through from 43 yards out into the wind. It was a good idea, and they inch to within 2. Bears kick off when we come back. Now after scoring on a safety and now a field goal, the Bears down by 2, kick off to the Texans. Hands off the leg. Jabbar Gaffney looking for blockers. A friend anywhere would help, and he is taken down to the 21-yard line. 6-yard return. So again, the Texans start deep in their own end, and the Bear defense is smoking right now.
Yeah, the defensive line of the Bears can't wait to get on the field again. David Carr was very disgusted with the way his offensive line has handled those guys in this second half. And he let them know it after the last series when he had to run out of bounds for his life again. And we'll see if they can get it fixed now. But you know the Bears are going to bring everything they can.
They're going to run here. They've got to start running the ball because he can't keep driving back. Their blockers can't hold out the Chicago rush. They're going to throw. And the ball caroms off a Bear, then off the intended receiver, Andre Johnson. So they put themselves in a hole. A first down miss at 2nd and 10.
Well, one thing that happened, and one reason that the Texans are going to throw on first down is because the Bears are in man coverage outside. They put everybody in at the line of scrimmage, and then they drop, as you see there, they drop Mike Green out into coverage, and he gets in the throwing lane, tips the ball, keeps Andre Johnson from catching it. But the Bears have so many guys in at the line of scrimmage, the Texans have to throw it.
Second down run. Straight ahead power run. Marcus Reese makes the stop on Dominic Davis. Davis 17 carries today for 59 yards. Chicago with 2 sacks, but the big number is the turnovers. And the Bears had 3 in the first half when they fell behind 7-0.
One of those sacks for Chicago was a safety that made this into a game that looks like, you know, an Astros-White Sox game.
Third and 7. Carr stands in. Look at the fastball to an open receiver. And on the run is Jabbar Gaffney. In pursuit is Azuma. He knocks him out of bounds, but it's down inside the 10-yard line. So Carr, under pressure, running for his life, finally gets a moment to throw. And the result, a 69-yard play that could be the knockout punch when this is all over.
Watch David Carr pump fake this ball out to his right, pumps it, comes back late to his left and gets rid of it. And you saw it, Gaffney all by himself down the field. He runs the outside, and Azuma loses him for a minute, and McQuarters can't get there. He went for the pump fake, and he's just too late getting back. It was a good job by Azuma to not give up the touchdown, but finally the Texans have flipped the football field.
Gaffney now over 100 yards receiving with just 3 catches. Bears strike down. Alfonso Boone puts the hit on Dominic Davis, but Jabbar Gaffney has caught 3 for 102 yards, but the big one, that 69-yarder a moment ago.
And that was a career long for Gaffney. He's never caught a pass like that in the NFL, and it came at the right time. And for as much as the Texans struggled in the third quarter, they bust out in a big way here early in the fourth. And you knew it was going to come, Don. The Bears couldn't play the entire game down there, and finally something happened to flip the football field and get the Texans out of trouble.
Carr rolling out, looks to the end zone, throws a sidearm ball to Dominic Davis. Carr with a very unusual throwing motion. He drops his delivery point down. And here we go, 3rd and goal from 2 yards out. From the shotgun. Throw. Incomplete. And the Texans will kick a field goal or attempt one. He pretty much point blank range, which if good would extend their lead to 10-5, and it builds the lead to 10-5, and the Bears have to score a touchdown. Jerry Azuma, he can go. He's going all the way out to the 35-yard line. So he gives the Bears good field position to start this drive, but of late, Hutchinson's been very ineffective throwing the ball. As we have a momentary loss of decorum.
A little frustration, I think. And the Bears coming out on offense once again. They have struggled badly in the second half of this game. 19 total yards so far. And they haven't scored points very often. In fact, there you see 10 points or less in 6 games. You can't win if you're only going to score 10 points in a game. And now the Texans have forced them to score a touchdown, which they haven't been able to do thus far.
First down and 10 for Hutchinson and the Bears. They've got to get the ball downfield. They're going to have to do it throwing it sooner or later. They're going to look deep now. They screen it. But the ball is underthrown, and the receiver, Thomas Jones, catches the ball, but he loses 1.5 yards on the play. Right on him was Kylie Wong.
Kylie Wong and Gary Walker on top of the quarterback in the backfield. And I think at this point, Don, if you're the Bears, as you watch here, Chad Hutchinson drop back Kylie Wong once again, going right around Colombo. I think it's time for the Bears to run a trick play, Don. They've got to have something happen positive.
The Chicago Bears trailing by 5 with 2nd down and 12 coming up. A long ball, and it's almost picked up. They were shooting at the fastest Bear, rookie Bernard Berrien. Aaron Glenn defending. Glenn already has 1 interception today and almost 2.
It's Berrien at the top of your screen. And this is something a receiver and a quarterback, you know, they have, these two guys, Hutchinson and Berrien, have not worked that long together. You'd like to have a receiver have the presence of mind to come up and try and make that play, stop on the ball. A young player like Berrien probably hasn't had enough experience, particularly in this kind of weather, to go up and make a play like that. And he probably doesn't know that Chad Hutchinson's going to ask him to.
Well, here Chad Hutchinson now in 3rd and 12, takes a drop, steps in. Here comes the heat. He's in deep trouble and swept under back inside the 20-yard line. And then a penalty marker comes in, followed by another. See, the Chicago with just 16 total yards in the second half. Hutchinson needs 12. Fastball. He's the former Cardinal pitcher, but he's way high, shooting to Bobby Wade. And the backup quarterback now for the Bears, he's not been in action yet, is 37-year-old Jeff George, former #1 pick in the entire draft, who's been out of football for 2 years and is happy to be back. And he's moved ahead of Jonathan Quinn as the #2. We don't see anybody warming up, but Hutchinson has not been able to move the team. Knowing what to expect, most of these guys haven't been anything like this. A brave new world they enter and have done very well in it. Now the handoff goes to their best runner, Dominic Davis, the 2nd-year back out of LSU, who has caught almost 60 passes this year, in addition to almost 900 yards rushing.
And the story of the day has been David Carr. This is the last series. This is the long pass to Gaffney down the sidelines and the short pass to Davis. And for a guy who struggled through the 3rd quarter, he made some pretty good throws on that series. That one dropped for the touchdown. They made him settle for the field goal. But in that last series, it was the first time this second half that David Carr started to look like David Carr.
He hit the one terrific throw in the first half, the 37-yard touchdown pass. Gave him a 7-0 halftime lead. Gaffney, the intended receiver. The Bears, Jerry Azuma, almost got it on an interception. The big thing the Texans have done is protected the ball so far today. The Bears with 3 turnovers.
And that was the difference. And watch here, that's Azuma. Azuma jumps up and tips it, and then Mike Green looks like he's going to pull into it. And it's a heads-up play there by Gaffney. Once that ball is tipped, he could jump right in the middle of the guy's back, climb up, hold him, pull him down. It doesn't matter. Once the ball's tipped, there is no interference. So he can do anything he possibly can to keep Mike Green from catching it.
Bears defense has been impressive in the second half. They dig in now. Chicago down by 5. Texans go on 3rd down. And it's going to be very close to the line. The linesman comes in. It looks like it might be a good spot for a 1st down for Houston.
David Carr is down. He took a
He's
big
been taking
shot.
some big shots today, David Carr.
He took some early on and then seemed to get away from it, and he was running so well. I don't know, man, I tell you what, I don't know how they do it.
1st down for the Texans. Penalty markers go down as driving straight ahead is the young back from LSU, Dominic Davis, who was drafted in the 4th round because they didn't think he was big enough to be an every down back. They thought he was a 3rd down back. They're going to get colder there too. It's -6 here, chill factor. Davis gets the ball again. He protects it so well. From Bow Bridge, Louisiana, which he proudly says is the crawfish capital of the world.
Crawfish capital of the world. The weather there, you saw what it was like in Green Bay, and that's what it's like here. And it's deteriorated.
I tell you, these Bears fans, you got to admire them. This place is packed.
I may admire him, but I don't envy him.
But they're waiting for things to turn around in Chicago. The Bears without offense. Their defense, other than giving up the big play for the touchdown, a 37-yarder, was a spectacular play The diving catch into the end zone by Bradford. Bears defense has been really pretty much shutting down, and here is another ball slapped at. Bard Gaffney was the guy they're looking at, but there's two big defensive linemen from Florida, Ian Scott and Alex Brown. That's Brown, 96.
Well, once again, we see the Texans throwing on first down because the Bears do play a lot of man on that down. Carr getting in there and can't get the ball through there with that sidearm delivery. But right now the Texans are thinking, just get us 5 more yards, give us a chance at a field goal to make this an 8-point game, give us a little more breathing room.
Still a long way to go, 7.5 minutes. Davis runs on 2nd down and 10. And he is taken down by Lance Briggs, who had 17 tackles last week at Jacksonville.
That's just inside field goal range. It's a little shorter going this direction as you look at the leaders. Carr not having the kind of day he wanted, but he does have 1 touchdown and another big 69-yard completion to Jabbar Gaffney. Dominic Davis has been effective.
3rd down and 7. Bears are ready to send blitzers. Here they come, a pack of them. Long ball. There was contact made as the ball sailed overhead, looking at Bradford, and Tillman was defending on the play, 33.
Yeah, Bradford looked like he pushed off a little bit, but there was no call. And
Bear offense, though, hasn't been within shouting distance of the Texans' end zone. Hadn't been close to a touchdown. Fastball delivered on the numbers inside the 25-yard line for a 1st down.
Okay, I agree with it.
Corey Bradford comes back at the ball, a 9-yard throw. That's one of the best throws of this day.
What a play. I mean, you never see anybody go for it on 4th and 6 with a lead in the 4th quarter, and watch the space that they give him. And if, you know, that's, I got to think they anticipated that coverage, saying, listen, let's just try it. If it's not there, throw it into the seats and give them the football. What a great play call.
And they're playing corners off because they got burned by Bradford earlier. Peanut was really off him. Peanut Tillman, the cornerback, and here's a pitch back. Davis stays in bounds. The Texans now methodically going to work the clock with a 5-point lead.
And that's a play that looked like it was shut down, and you can tell that fourth down, you kind of demoralized the Bears a little bit. Thought they had him stopped. What? Listen to this.
Ooh.
Every one of those big clicks is somebody whacking somebody else. I mean, there's a lot of physical contact. And we say it over and over, it really is a car wreck on every play.
And it hurts a little more in a day like this, doesn't it?
Oh, man, it stings.
2nd down coming up. Sweep. Davis cutting back to the 15-yard line. Got about 3. Bring up 3rd down and about long 2 as Michael Haynes makes the stop.
You know, you talk about this, how this offense is working. They go for the 4th down on 4th and 6 and get it. And then all of a sudden, they play everything close to the vest. They're going to run the football, pound it down, run the clock. You know, it's not like they were going for it on 4th and 6 and have to score. They were going for it on 4th and 6 because they want to run the clock out of the game. I mean, it's an unusual situation, but the Texans are executing it perfectly. Just grind it out.
Field goal, of course, would make it an 8-point game for the Texans. Beautiful play fake, and Carr running for the 1st down, and he gets it. David Carr with a naked boot. There was nobody there out in front of him. Naked bootleg is Carr is the #1 rushing quarterback in the American Conference. He came into the game with 236 yards rushing on 54 carries. That's 4.4 per.
And that's a beautiful play call. Absolutely perfectly timed. You got the quarterback that can execute it, and the Bears are asking Alex Brown to try and run him down a defensive end. Carr's just not going to let it happen. And it wasn't like he was trying to get big, huge yards. He just reached the ball out and got the 1st down and was perfectly satisfied. What a great play call at that point.
And the Texans drive on, and there is Dominic Davis, and they may have broken the spirit of the Bears defense, which has played so well with that run by Carr, because right up the middle goes Dominic Davis, and he scores his 12th touchdown of the season. And it appears the Texans have indeed put on the knockout punch now. There has made the plays they needed to take this lead. Now the kickoff to Jerry Azuma. And Azuma again works his way out across the 35-yard line. Tuesday at a special time on CBS, The Amazing Race is launching teams to new heights. See ancient battle skills become key to winning the competition. Don't miss a new Amazing Race. Tuesday at a special time, 8/7 Central on CBS, America's most watched network. Hutchinson throws the out pattern and he gets it to Bobby Wade, who works the sideline for a big gain. Then a penalty marker comes in as Wade is tackled inside the Texans' 40-yard line by Marlon McCree. Bears look like it's coming back. They're walking back anyway.
Yeah, they.
Illegal block in the back. Offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, and that's not a, I guess it's not a spot foul, so it doesn't happen from where the penalty happened. It goes from the line of scrimmage. You watch coming in right there, Kylie Wong gets hit. It was actually number 83, David Terrell. And that was a spot foul.
We got to get these chains in order. They got the spot is at the 45.
1st and 1. I don't get that. Wasn't that on?
There was a flat pass to Bernard Berrien.
There's something you don't see every day, a 1st and 1 play.
Gives you some nice options.
Yeah, opens the playbook up. Now they're going no huddle, which, you know, I think if you're going to do something different, this is it. They should have done this earlier.
Yeah. Nice catch by Berrien, rookie out of Fresno State. He dives down to the 37-yard line.
2 flags back in the backfield of the Bears. Going to be holding. Wasn't that he didn't have good players, it's because he couldn't get enough good players that he had on the field. And I think he's learned a lot, and they've learned a lot about the guys behind those frontline players and who they can count on.
We've got to learn what's out there in offense in the college draft, like Alex Barron of Florida State, the best offensive tackle in the country. Bears need him badly. We're at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the Houston Texans, playing in their first really cold weather game, have played brilliantly, have protected the ball, while their counterparts, the Bears, on their home field, who have 6 straight December wins at home, have turned it over 3 times, and the Texans have taken command of the game 17-5. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. It was 7-0 Texans at the half. The Bears defense, for the most part, has really kept pressure on, giving up a couple of big plays, but the Bears offense has been futile, as all season. It's the 32nd ranked offense in the NFL. You can't get lower.
And there's a personal foul down the sideline. You'll see, I think that's Marlon McCree hitting David Terrell, a defenseless receiver. The ball was over his head.
The Bears align their defense, needing desperation plays now. Trailing in the game 17-5. All the Bears have produced today, a safety and a field goal. And here's a free ball, and Martin wasn't coming forward. This is going to be a touchdown. It's going to go the distance as Charlie Anderson picks it up and goes 60 yards and puts an exclamation point on this game, as not only do the Texans come on the road and win, and they win in a rout at the end.
But they've got to get more depth, because everybody gets injured, and it's how you play after those injuries that count in the National Football League.
Kickoff, very short to Peterson. Adrian Peterson has crossed the 35 and out to the 37-yard line, but there's little left for the Bears right now, especially hope. They're out of it. Check local listings. Game 2 coming up next. Hutchinson in a tough position. A big rush coming, and he can do nothing but stand back and fire. Makes a connection here. Ball is thrown to Justin Gage, his biggest wide receiver, as the Bears hurry into alignment with too little, far too late in this game, down 24-5. Just to get a touchdown, that would be a victory of some kind. Hutchinson dumps it off over the middle. Running with the ball is David Terrell.
There's a flag deep in the secondary. of the Texans.
On job on the field. Don Capers told us last night that we need to play a complete game. He said we play 3 quarters and have a bad quarter and it costs us a game. He pointed out that the biggest, the most difficult loss is that ball's on the field and picked up was the loss to Green Bay, Steve, when they were up 13-3 after 3 quarters and lost it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's happened. They've had fast starts and slow finishes, slow starts and fast finishes.
Today they played the complete game, doing the #1 mandate in a day like this. They protected the ball, didn't turn it over. The Bears turned it over 4 times. Penalty marker is down. Technical director Colby Bourgeois, audio supervisor Pat Thornton, the men and women of CBS Sports, and we certainly give our thanks for another terrific job by the cameramen and technicians who worked in tough conditions. Never missed a beat. His downfield throw is tipped and almost completed, but it goes incomplete, and futility reigns for the Chicago Bears offense.
You can kind of tell what we were speaking about a minute ago is the Texans want to play 60 minutes, and they're going to finish up. There's a minute 23 left, and they are coming after Chad Hutchinson still. I mean, they're not going to let up. They've been down this road before, and even though this game is out of reach at 24-5, they're not going to let up. And there you see the fewest points allowed in franchise history if they can finish out today.
Although thanks to our CBS statistician Bill George and to spotters Eric Lucetti and Dave Brower, as Hutchinson trying to hit that end zone before it's over. That could have gone the distance. Aaron Glenn, he couldn't find it. If he did, he'd still be running.
I think this is a game where even the Texans are going to learn something about themselves. They overcame the cold weather, a Southern team coming up, and they also came right after the Chicago Bears. I mean, they didn't stop at any point today. They didn't change their defensive game plan. They were well disciplined. They came out after halftime, made some adjustments, and any limited success that the Bears did have in the first half was completely evaporated in the second. The Texan defense really turned it up in the second half.
And here's Hutchinson now on 3rd down and 10. Man, he got clobbered just as he released the ball. He was sandwiched.
He got hit hard. There's 2 guys down. Chap Hutchinson
got hit so hard the guy that hit him is down.
Yeah, that's Charlie Anderson, who had the interception for a touchdown. Watch Chad Hutchinson, and this is one of the things that coaches have been telling him. Don't open up for the big hit. Well, you know what I said? That's worse than a car wreck. That's like getting caught in a stampede. Continue to take and play hard every snap.
Well, he got pounded last week at Jacksonville, and Jeff George said after the game, he said the only way he could describe his performance was courageous. He didn't back off.
And on a 4th down, the Bears end the day with a whimper and not a bang.
That'll do it. The game will tick out, and the Dom Capers and the Texans now go to 6-8 on the year, and Lovie Smith and his Bears go to 5-9.